Hello all, and welcome to this roundtable in WeTest.Athens 2026 that we're going to discuss the future of test management and who owns quality. This roundtable, we have a last-minute change. Mr. Rolandos cannot attend, and Mr. Sidiropoulos will take his place. So, let me welcome everyone to the roundtable, and let's start the discussion by saying some facts. Let's say that we have observed to the industry and especially to our QA teams. I have seen a paradox. I have seen things moving faster. The faster we go, we start reporting solely to engineering and losing our North Star, our QA North Star. And I would like your help in order to discuss this shift in management and quality ownership and what happens to your companies. So please introduce yourself one by one and start the topic.
Hello everyone, my name is Panagiotis Leloudas. I'm the QA engineering manager at Yodek, and I have also noticed the same thing happening in the industry. And I think that we cannot actually find a way to stop it, but we can find ways to detain it a bit.
Hello everyone, my name is Selim. I work in Batson as QA manager. So welcome everyone. So regarding the question, regarding that topic, actually, the quality blindness is definitely a real threat for our company as well. So I think this is something that you cannot avoid, but it is something that you need to focus and reduce. So yeah, basically, this is something that I can say about this.
Hello, my name is Iulia. I'm a testing manager in Net Company. And about your very interesting question, for big organizations that are moving at a very fast pace, quality blindness is indeed a threat. We have in Net Company very well-established metrics that we are using. We collaborate very closely and get feedback from our clients. And we also take risk-based decisions. So like this, we have awareness. And with this awareness, we are going towards a culture of quality, a culture that is encouraging quality.
Okay, so hi, I'm Bjorn Boisschot. As you can hear, I'm from Belgium. So I work for Cakar. I manage the full testing team of around 200 testers there. And yeah, we work for different companies because we're a consultancy company. So we see that quality blindness in most of our customers. Do we have a solution? No, unfortunately not in my opinion. But what I do think that's very important is that as a tester, we continue to actually evangelize why software testing is important, why quality of a product is important, and why we actually all need to strive for better quality. I think that will solve a small part of it.
Hi, I'm Anthi from Qualco. Speed is part of how we operate, but structure is our discipline. And Qualco will have the QA share function across all business lines with clear ownership and tailored quality gates per product. So we don't find something to cure. We need to stay aligned on what quality means as we scale and move fast.
Hello everyone. My name is Panagiotis Tzagkarakis. I'm here on behalf of XM. I'm working there for the last 4 years. So I'm a senior QA team leader. What we are discussing at the moment, I can say that is obvious and it's happening. I mean, it's a real case scenario. We can all see the elephant in the room because there are different stakeholders that participate in the release process. So everyone can, let's say, focus on speedy release or meeting deadlines. What I can see from my side, because it worked for me, is about persuading the correct people within the company to pay the correct focus on what should matter. So if we convince the people that have the authority to make a specific working mentality for the whole employees, then this priority, the quality priority, can come to the top of everyone's list within the company.
Hi, I'm Kostas. I'm software engineer test infrastructure chapter lead in Agile Actors. Actually, what I see as a real threat is that many times we treat quality as a black box that is totally disconnected from engineering. And by principle, we believe that quality is something and a value that should be embedded across all functions of a company. So for this reason, what we see as a cure is that we try to embed quality and testability across any aspect, from architecture to requirements and eventually to the last mile product that the customer will deliver. And for this reason, we try to have platforms and treat quality as a platform that will enable engineering to get feedback very fast and act on this.
Right, thank you very much. And I will continue from your point. I like it very much. So, if everyone knows quality, who takes the blame if something breaks at 3 o'clock a.m.? And I'm going to ask Iulia, when something breaks, is the whole team a valid answer, or do you need a single point of accountability?
The whole team approach is a very, very popular lately in the past years. It's very popular. It's mentioned a lot of times in the ISTQB syllabi also, and I consider that it's sometimes misunderstood, because, as you said in your question, at 3 a.m. when production is down and everything is on fire, no one wants to hear, well, the whole team owns it. Okay, this answer, it's inclusive, it's nice, it's going towards accountability, let's say. However, the shared ownership needs to come together with this accountability. So we are moving very, very fast lately in the development process, and with this very, very fast movement, we somehow need to be grounded and not to lose ourselves with this speed, because quality is very important, and if we lose quality, speed will become only an expensive failure. In Net Company, we have very large-scale projects and a large-scale delivery in general. And what I have learned working with very well established teams, very successful teams, is that we do not need to separate the shared ownership from accountability. These are always coming together. And I was talking with someone outside earlier, because we are moving so fast nowadays. We moved from how we used to have a QA department that was isolated. We moved to the whole team approach, to agile teams. We moved from testing at the end to having automation included and being very much helped by AI. We moved also from purely manual test validation to AI-assisted automation. So, yes, everybody owns the quality. This is true. And I love to give examples. Just think about Formula One. In Formula One, the whole team owns the winning, owns the success. starting from the mechanics, of course, from the drivers, from the designers. When the car fails during a race, then there is someone there to take a very fast decision. They are just fixing in a millisecond, and they move very fast. So, yes, everyone owns quality, but who gets the blame? Blame is a very harsh word. I don't like it. It's coming together with guilt, with pointing fingers. And on the other side, accountability. I'm saying a lot this word because I find it very important. Accountability, it's looking forward, it's finding a solution. So this is towards where we need to focus ourselves. So who gets the blame at 3 a.m.? Ideally, nobody.
Okay, thank you very much. What about your company, Taki? How you balance the fast product environment with accountability?
In my case, the way I see it is that if something is fast, the easier thing to do is run with it. So if you try to stop a Formula 1 car that is very fast, you will fail, unless you are in the driver's seat. If you try to stop the production that they want to push and deliver more and more things, you will fail. So the best solution for it is to run with it. And what I mean with that? First of all, I don't think we should blame someone in matter of accountability. Is not about blaming someone. You can blame the process maybe, and that's the best thing you can get out of it. If you blame the process, it's very easy because the process can change. If you blame the individual, you cannot change the individual. You can adjust a few things in the process. You can get the individual, the person who is accountable to make the right decisions. And if you see that the decisions are not right, you can change the process. Then maybe someone else will be the person that will be accountable for it, and it will be another person that will make the new decisions. It's very easy to change the processes if you see that things are failing. What we do at Yodek, we change the process maybe every week. Not completely, you don't change the whole company in 1 week. But we sit together every week and we say, okay, let's see, what went well last week? Did we manage to deliver what we wanted? Did we have a lot of problems? And then we get new ideas. Maybe we should try this. We try it. We fail. We adapt. We learn with our failures. It's okay. So my key message here is don't be afraid for the blame. Don't be afraid to get the blame or to get the accountability of the process. Because this is how you will learn, this is how you will evolve, and this is how the company also will go further.
Okay, thank you very much. I like your answers a lot, and my thinking was that a lot of companies, in order to keep the pace, they are trying to eliminate the QA manager positions. And we've seen QA managerial, head of QA's positions be eliminated in order to satisfy speed, and they pass the quality to engineering teams. What do you think about the role of QA manager? Is it something that is in danger, Selim?
To be honest, I wouldn't say it is endangered or it is in danger. I mean, as someone who works as a QA manager, I mean, it is maybe hard to admit it, yes, but jokes aside, from my point of view, like if you look from the classic QA manager role, who manages the team, who takes action regarding team distribution, tasks, and test case management, yes, I think it is going to be the fate at the end of the day. But I mean, this is something that needs to transform, because we have to redefine that role, since like there are lots of fast-paced changes around our companies and environment as well. And I think this, like, for example, we can take the example of Scrum Masters. Like, then you go back in 2015, between 2015 and 2020, there were a lot of demand on Scrum Masters, right? But now the role is dramatically reduced and redistributed. So when you consider that role, most of the responsibilities have absorbed by the rest of the team, developers, testers, or engineering managers. So it is normal and it is natural for Scrum Master role to be redistributed. But when it comes to QA manager role or test manager role, you can call whatever you want, but the QA leader, let's say, I think it is right now in the same crossroad, but with a critical difference. And this critical difference is you cannot redistribute or share the voice of the QA. So this is something that needs to be managed by one hand, I think, at the end of the day. Because it might sound radical, but I generally suggest companies to have specific QA department so that they can be independent, they can be challenge both product and engineering teams. Right now, this is not the case in my company, for example, but for example, we have an agreement with my manager, so I am acting like independent. But I mean, if large-scale company has that opportunity, then yeah, I would go with having specific QA department. So in the next QA leadership, let's say after 5 years, most probably those will be the ones, not will be the ones who plans test management well, but those will be the ones who sit in front of C-levels and explain what is the quality, what is the importance of quality, and sometimes saying maybe like shipping faster costs more than shipping slower. So if you are unable to say this, and in order to say this, of course, you need a QA manager, or director of QA, you can call it whatever you want, but as I said, without this independence, like QA management will be just decorated in the C level or in the lower level. So I mean, overall, I would say yes, we need, in order to answer the question, definitely we need to have leadership table, so leadership seat in the table, but it should be independent, okay? Because from my point of view, QA is not just a development process, and I am sure that everyone agrees here. It is like kind of strategic pillar of the business. So title might change, but at the end of the day, I believe that it will be transformed to a different role, but we need definitely someone who can take care of the overall quality. Otherwise, there will be inconsistency in the product, and this is something that we are facing. I mean, based on my experience, I many times faced that someone who is coming from a different background, like for example, backend or like developer, like leading the QA team, which causes a lot of problems that they are unable to see the main point. I am not saying it is wrong, but sometimes it is challenging for them to be part of this. Since we are coming from the QA background, we know every detail, so that we can like easily understand and absorb this process well. So overall, I think yes, it might be in danger in terms of title, but at the end of the day, that leadership will stay longer than I expect, than we all expect most probably. Yeah.
Thank you for the answer. Panagiotis, what's your intake on that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, about the in high stake companies, technologies. Can an engineering manager without a testing background replace the QA manager?
So I have the chance to work with many skillful people that are smart also, and from time to time I get also motivated by them. And they actually know the risks, the technical risks. They know how the product is delivering, how the product in general works. But the architectural risk does not only stand in code and code reviews, and sprint dashboards. It's something that, yes, they know about architecture, but it's our job, it's QA job to show to the people, to make them understand what is happening when architecture is meeting the real life, when it comes to reality. So, on my opinion, yes, they could lead quality, but we should not expect from their side to cover all, let's say, architectural gaps that have to do with quality. And without our expertise, the QA expertise being on the table. And let me dive deeper about the fintech part, since XM is a fintech company. So we have many crucial flows that have to do with trading, which is the core functionality, let's say, of the company, funding, user onboarding, and many other, let's say, important flows like affiliation or client loyalty. So in these cases, imagine that a risk is missed. What does this mean? That we will have a production incident, most probably. So the production incident can provoke very complicated rollbacks, probably financial loss, some regulatory issues. We can also lose reputation. We can face a severe reputation crisis. So this, at the end of the day, will mean that we will lose the trust of our clients. A trust that is so hard to build. It's hard to convince someone to invest their money on you and actually trust you. So the difference, the key difference between us as QAs and the engineering managers and developers is the way that we are trained to think. We are trained to think mainly based on the risk, on user flows, on what can go wrong, what are the edge cases, non-functional scenarios that probably have to do with usability or accessibility. So we are making questions to ourselves. What can go wrong? What can break? What are the normal and maybe weird flows that the users can follow? What can go wrong regarding the third parties? A bank can fail, APIs can fail, network can fail. So there are many cases that we should have under consideration to proceed with our testing and foresee them. So the topic here that we should focus more, I think, on is not having the engineering manager against us, but how this is a good partnership, how this can continue and coexist. In complex issues, in complex cases, there should be multiple perspectives on the table. We should take into consideration all of them. So I believe in the partnership of both of us as QAs and the engineering managers to provide all together, let's say, a qualitative result and a delivery with confidence.
Okay, very nice. But how you deal sometimes with the fact that QA is a blocker? QA blocks the speed to market, even in a fast-paced environments, and especially in the AI age that code can be developed very, very rapidly with AI. QA starts being the bottleneck, the blocking aspect. So I will ask Anthi, how do you flip the script from being a blocker to being a quality enabler?
From my experience, the hardest shift is not about testing, it's about culture and mindset. And I saw this clearly some years ago when I took over QA across multiple startup teams in Qualcomm. The initial perception was that QA would slow them down. And to be honest, if QA shows up only at the end and focus on defects, it will always be a blocker, and teams are never ready to lose velocity. So gaining trust at the beginning was not an easy task. I quickly realized that we needed to change how we work and how we communicate. And what really worked for us was not to push harder, it was to adapt and reposition QA within the delivery phase. So we joined conversation early. We started by listening to their goals, their pressures, their pain points. We focused on team priorities and we provided visibility to areas they didn't have before. And working closely with the teams, we gradually built a mindset where QA and engineering work together, not in silos, clarifying requirements and preventing issues early on. And at the same time, we invested a lot in automation and AI, so quality is also part of a process and not just an individual effort, and that accelerates the delivery. And the most important, instead of saying this is not ready, we framed everything in terms of customer impact and risk. What does this mean for the user? What will happen if we release something like this? Because over the time, and as client expectation increased, quality gaps were impossible to ignore. So QA was no longer optional. So for me, the flip happens on 3 levels, from late validation to early involvement, from control to collaboration, and from blocking releases to enabling informed decisions. And that's the turning point. When teams see that QA is not there to delay releases, but to support delivery and reduce risk, the dynamic completely changes. And that's when QA becomes a real partner instead of being a blocker. And now the same teams that were skeptical and pushing for speed go to QA first. And not because they have to, because they trust the value that QA brings. And that's a shift.
Okay, thank you very much. As I understood your answer, you need a strategy to achieve that. So that's why I'm going to ask Konstantinos, how you become from a QA manager to QA strategist?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. First of all, I think that there are a couple of skills that someone will need to acquire, and this is not, let's say, something new. But especially now in the AI era, it's very important. Very important skill is the systems thinking. So it's very important to start thinking, of course, the product and the business cases, but how a system is being built, how it is being composed. And this is something that not only someone from a testing or quality background will need to acquire, but anyone from the engineering will need to start thinking and start thinking in terms of systems. So the code is going to be generated faster, but someone will need to be able to compose systems. And on the other side, on the quality, on the testing side, someone will need to be able to decompose these systems that someone else has thought on, composing. Because in the end of the day, we are not just checking code. We are also building a platform that needs to provide feedback really fast, be valuable, be scalable, and be stable, which are core engineering practices, just like the other systems that are being built.
Thank you very much. In that aspect that AI is driving us, I would like to ask Bjorn, will this AI solve the bottleneck, or will make our blind spot automated?
Well, I don't think AI will not solve our bottleneck. I'm pretty convinced of it that it will not solve all the problems we have in that bottleneck area. What I'm too convinced of is that AI will enable us to do some things faster and better, so we can actually focus on what is really valuable for the product, the quality of a product. If I would ask the audience a question, most of you are testers, do you really like to do the same regression test manually over and over again for each sprint, each release, each week? I see already a lot of heads nodding no. Same for me, by the way. I don't think we like to do that. Why? Because the pure manual regression testing, to be very honest, it's a bit boring, it's repetitive. It doesn't really add a lot of value to the product. It just makes sure that the functionality that worked before is still working, which is also very important. But if you can use or leverage AI, for example, to create on a faster way, and very important, reliable automated test cases to cover that aspect, that will mean that we have more time to focus on what is really valuable. I think the person before, sorry, I'm bad with names. Kostas, sorry, Kostas. I already mentioned there are several very important engineering practices. Our product needs to be valuable, it needs to be safe, it needs to be fast, it needs to be reliable, trustworthy, and that trustworthiness is very important. So if AI can help us in automate some of these things so we can spend more attention to that point, that will be one thing. On the other hand, we see that AI is accelerated development. We see that same development team is able to have a higher velocity and deliver more features to us, which means that by definition we get a lot of more work to do from a testing point of view. So that means that there's like kind of a tsunami of work coming over towards the testing or the QA departments, with which we will need to cope. Because if we don't cope with it, again, we will become the bottleneck, like we've sometimes always also been in the past. And now we started automating CI/CD, code quality, shifting testing to other people in the team. With AI, I will need to cope with the same thing. And then for me, the third and last point in the equation is that because of AI-infused applications, you call them agents or bots or chatbots or whatever, an application that has AI built into it, there's a lot of different new quality characteristics that we will need to test. It's not just, it's not deterministic anymore. 1 + 1 is 2, that's very easy. If you give a question to an agent, it will give you 10 different answers and all 10 of them are correct. So it's a different way of approaching testing. But also on the other hand, we need to check, okay, is the agent not disclosing any company information? Is it not disclosing any personal data information? Can an end user maliciously ask different prompts so he can get something from the agent what he couldn't get? That's something we need to test. We need to make sure that our application is linked to regulations. You have the AI Act that's out there now. We need to test that everything we do with AI, that it actually validates against the AI Act. That's also something. Making sure that our agent is not biased, very, very bluntly, that it doesn't insult our customers. If a customer asks something, that it doesn't say, you stupid idiot, what did you ask me? I mean, we need to check that. On the other hand, we also need to check, and that's for me very important, that's often forgotten, is that agents react in a human way. And what I really, really hate is that every question I ask Copilot, he starts with the answer, oh Bjorn, that's an awesome question, this is the best idea ever. No, it was a stupid question, but I just need an answer, and I really hate it, and I think a lot of people also hate that kind of fake answers. So, to summarize everything, will it solve the bottleneck? No, because I think there's a lot of more work coming our way. There's a lot of more things we will need to do, but will it change the way we do testing? Yes, I'm pretty convinced of that. So, if you ever hear anybody saying testing is dead or we don't need testing because AI will do everything, etc., I totally don't believe in that. I think it's even becoming more important than it was in the last 10 years.
Thank you. So, so far, everyone, our teams are hybrid teams. They have manual testers, automation testers, and I'm pretty sure in a few years we're going to have, except manual and automation testers, agents in our teams. We'll have probably an agent that is expert in ISTQB rules, on an agent that can review test cases, or an expert that can generate test cases or whatever. What do you think the title of a QA manager will be in 3 years from now? So, yeah, one by one, you can answer.
Okay, so very, very short answer. It's going to be, I think that it's not going to eliminate, but it's going to transition to something like a quality engineering strategy or a quality engineering orchestrator, because we mentioned also the test agents.
Yes, I pretty much agree. I mean, it will change and already started changing. I mean, what we used to say as a test manager in the past about assigning, let's say, regression cycles, approving regression cycles, or assigning test cases, the role will change from being administrative to more like leading quality. For example, creating strategies, focusing on initiatives, leading initiatives like shifting left or AI or automation, and all together, I mean, from the QA perspective, to achieve qualitative results with confidence releases aligned with the company, let's say, goals.
The role is evolving, more strategic, but it's always essential.
Yeah, and my opinion on that is perhaps a strange one, because I have, I think, around 40 test managers in my team. But I do believe that the term or the title test manager will go away. And I'm very honest, I wouldn't mind that it actually goes away. Why? Because sometimes if C-level hears the word test manager, they believe that that person manages tests, which is partially correct, but I hope we do a lot more than just manage tests. So I think it's more going to be something evolving towards providing insights on the risks that we face for applications, on the whole quality overall, actually. I do hope that that's going to be the evolution.
I share your opinion. I consider that the test manager role will evolve. However, quality will be more and more important. So we are here to stay for testing. We will do the things in different ways with the use of AI. And yeah, we are evolving very fast.
Actually, yeah, I agree with everyone, because everyone mentioned about the right points, especially the Costa, you mentioned about orchestration. So I think this is what will happen from my point of view. But I would like to mention that I think we can, benefits of exploratory testing is really crucial, I believe. So at the end, from my point of view, in the future, test manager will be still leading smaller teams, QA teams, who are generally professional regarding agent management, as well as automation and manual testing as well, because we cannot just ignore manual testing it. And when you look, because most probably you will remember just 2 years ago when AI comes up, everyone was saying that it will start killing the QAs first and product. But what happened? Right now, I am not last 1 year, I never touched the code by myself. I am editing, okay, but I use the LLMs basically, and I am sure that everyone is doing the same. So it starts from development side, because development, it is something that can be just related to code. Of course, you need to be specific and you need to be experienced, but quality comes with person's perspective, and it is really hard to replace it at the end of the day. But yeah, if it is going to be replaced, then most probably test managers will be handling the orchestration, as Costa mentioned, orchestrating everything. So it will act like a QA engineer. So yeah, this is what I think.
Okay, not much left for me to say, but I think the role will still be there in the future, maybe on a different level, because throughout the years we changed the name, we changed the function, we changed the level a lot of times. It used to be test manager, it used to be QA manager, it used to be SDET manager. I think now with AI we will still have the need to have a person or a team or someone to manage it, to manage the AI, to manage the process, to manage the outcome. So maybe the name will change, maybe not, but the level, I'm sure it will change for sure. But the role will be there.
Thank you very much. So I think we are approaching the end of this round table, and I would like the audience to have some questions. Is anyone that has a question? or a comment or a different opinion of what we have discussed so far? Yes, please.
Thank you very much. So for me, I would expect to have a QA manager because the QA manager has quite many QAs below or the same level or whatever. Me as a QA, I can go on and prompt Claude and find out things that I'm not supposed to know. I can prompt to find out the logic behind the iOS apps and then the Android apps. And I see that there is an architectural discrepancy. Why would I not know? But I can know that. And then I can trigger discussions. I expect my QA manager at any time to show the vision of the whole app. There is one app, there is multiple platforms, but we have the same division. If there is one case that I am missing, I could be missing, is a manager that is not having that vision for that same level of quality across all the apps, if we are in the mobile, if we are in the web, wherever. But regarding the QA manager role, at least, I would expect that specific vision. We can automate everything. We will be able to automate in the next 3 years. We can have an automated QA engineer. We will find the bugs, especially if we create automated code with AI, it will then go on and orchestrate a fix. Who is going to check that? A QA engineer. And what I have seen is on all the AI fixes or features that I am getting a bloat of bugs. Doesn't make sense because it's AI. But what did you prompt that AI? What was your context? So anyone can ask questions, but what is the right question? And the final role of the QA manager, I would like to keep it that there is the same vision for any QA engineer in all the teams. This is what I had been missing, and I'm not missing that at this point. Because I believe that this is, again, something that our manager, I expect it from my manager, to push me and the whole teams, the respective teams, because there are multiple teams. So at least regarding the manager, I would be expecting that. And regarding the AI, for me, it's a joke that is going to take the jobs. It's just a joke. So I don't see any job being missing. You cannot automate the exploratory. You can maybe in the age of the AGI, if we reach that age, but again, you're not a human. And I don't think that this is something that the quality assurance team needs to invest. It's again something that a human does. Regarding the QA manager, I told you that was just my comment, but I also had the comment regarding the AI taking the jobs. It's not. It will speed up your process. I don't want to do the same regression and have open the same bug every week. I am tired. It's boring. This is something that I would be expecting from AI to make it faster. And the automation code, if you have the correct initial code, you can also prompt it to have the same code. You will get it in 10 minutes. You will debug it for the next hour, you will be done. And that can be done from multiple levels of QA engineers. But you also need to review. So it's more complex at that point. If we reach the level that everything is automated, then we can go on and get some misos and create miso salad. But I don't see that coming in the near future, at least. But some comments, what I would be expecting. So that's all from me.
Hello. I just wanted to ask, in order of this possibility or not possibility of the QA manager, test manager, whatever manager, keep existing or evolving in the future for current teams that are managing quality strategies on their own. And I don't mean that there's no QA involved in the teams. There are QA engineers, but there's no QA manager, like managing what each team does. And what do you think is, or what can be a QA manager or test manager position in companies that are evolving to this kind of methodology?
Yeah, so I would like to take that one because what we see there in some companies already happening is that actually that role is shifting towards more, we don't have a correct term, but more like a test architect. Meaning that indeed all of the different teams, you have all the test engineers working in a team, QA engineers, they're looking after the quality of specific applications, but then you have more like let's call it test architect, that works together from the beginning of the project to make sure that quality can be built in, that an application can be testable. Like the other person just mentioned, yes, you can automate a lot of things, but if your application is built with automation in mind or built with testability in mind, it's pretty easy to let an AI or something else or a human automate it. If it is totally not being built with testability in mind, well, it's going to be damn difficult for a human, but equally damn difficult for an AI to actually do that in a trustworthy way. Because like the gentleman just before said, the difference there is that if something is not flaky, is trustworthy, and each time does the automation in a correct way, you start trusting it. If it each time does something different, it's crap, actually. Sorry for the word. So for me, I think the role there evolves more to that test architect, designing or ideating the way quality is meant to be done overall the company. And then everybody inside the different teams is taking that quality perspective into mind, is putting it into their definitions of done, definition of ready, making sure that the team actually owns these practices. But you need somebody like a test. I always call it a test architect, but it can be called a different name. Somebody that actually envisions, okay, how are we going to do this company-wide? How are we going to make sure that it's built in? How do we manage test data? How do we manage stubbing and mocking from the start of a project? So I think that's an important change for me, at least, what I see. Don't know if anybody else.
Yeah, so I wanted to advance more on what you said, because it's a model that I have seen it working with very good results, the model of a test architect. So someone who is responsible on the technical side for the architecture and the testability of the platform, because the term QA manager, test manager, many times has to do also with managing people, with people management, so aspects like this, which, to be honest, I think that not only this role is in, let's say, danger, but any kind of middle management positions, all the things that now is going about with the AI, and that any middle management position will no longer exist, which I don't think so for now. By the way, you mentioned something about prompt and getting the information of iOS. If you have this ability, I'm hiring, and our recruiter is there. So if you can just add a simple prompt and get all this information about iOS, I hire you. Okay. So it's an engineering aspect, providing prompts and the right prompts. And especially now, even some old techniques that are not something new are becoming more important. And some research has shown that the code that the developer and software engineer is producing from AI tools is much better when he or she uses test-driven development. So provides the feedback, provides the tests and the specs to the AI agent, and then have the code. It's not something new. We always evangelized about test-driven development, TDD, and things like that. Believe me, I don't think that many engineers were doing that. But still, it seems that it's going to be more important in the future. And I want to share an interesting fact also. But Microsoft was claiming that they were able to produce code. I don't remember the percentage not now, but I think that they told something about 70-80% of the products and the code were produced by AI. In the previous months, you know what was their move that they did? They hired someone responsible for quality and they made him do a direct report to their CEO because they were having a lot of issues. It's not that AI, let's say, will replace quality. It's something that it will be more important, and we will need to find ways in order to be able to embed quality into inspects and tests in order to make this automation, because it's kind of automation still, right? And be able to produce us with valid results.
So you're saying we should go even left, even more left, go to the prompt level, not even...
Yeah, actually, I can say this is a research that was done from ThoughtWorks. If anyone knows about ThoughtWorks and how important they were in Agile, they gathered a lot of many experts. One of them was also Martin Fowler, and they did found from real projects that applying TDD into AI-assisted development had much better results.
Very nice, very interesting. Anyone else? All right, so thank you very much for attending this session. And I thank everyone of you for this very interesting discussion. And I hope to see you everyone in Thessaloniki in September.